Welcome back. Now, informal settlement changed after independence and came about through single quarters upgrading projects where households were relocated. About 70% of urban dwellers are living in informal settlements or structures, and recent informal settlements and backyard profiles. Sheikh Dwellers Federation of Namibia in the informal settlement communities indicate that there are about 228,423 sheikhs in 308 informal settlements across the country. The majority of the inhabitants form part of the 89% of the population that cannot afford commercial markets, related land and shelter solution. I'm now joined by the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Erastus Otoni, to shed more light on the matter. Good evening, Minister, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Dapewa. Thank you very much for having me here.
All right. Now, Minister, the land and housing situation continues to become a dire situation, with continuous solutions being streamed towards it. How is it that Namibia is faring in addressing the situation?
Well, the issue of land in Namibia and housing, it's an issue that is known by all of us. It's simple because, now you have the population that is growing very fast. If you can look back the year before independence, our population was there between 1,800,000 to 1 million there around. But immediately after independence, the population is growing very, very fast. And now, people are also now allowed free movement. Unlike in the past, people were restricted to come and settle anywhere. But the independence said, by the constitution said, you are a free citizen. You can settle wherever you want to settle. Now, these are our citizens who are settling anywhere. Now, by settling anywhere, there is those challenges in terms of, in local authorities. Challenges are like, for example, the lack of land servicing. That is one. Now, people are here looking for green patches, but now, if you look at a situation like in Windhoek and other local authorities, there are variable places that you could see people when they are migrating from other places. The only available accommodation was those compounds. Now those compounds were only designed for few people. Now the big number is now migrating. So now people have decided that, okay, I found my job here in Windhoek, for example, then where can I sleep? So I have to find a place in any given piece of land, that they settle there, no services, nothing. Mm-hmm. So that is the situation of informal settlement that is now increasing in Namibia. Mm-hmm. However, the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, despite the economic low growth, we are trying our level best to ensure that at least we have to also come in and then provide some financing here and there, of course, through Treasury. Treasury has to allocate some funds to the ministry, and then the ministry would then allocate this fund to various local authorities to service a certain piece of land so that we can allocate our people to those areas.
Right. Now, with regards to allocation and those also choosing to go and settle to those places, it's probably because of the funds and the money, because the sheikhs are much more cheaper than what we call people that stay in CBD. Don't you think so, Minister?
If I understand your question, you are saying the sheikhs are more cheaper.
Yes.
Than any other, maybe conventional dwellings or housing.
Isn't that a contribution to the number of sheikhs that we have in Namibia?
Well, yes, one would say sheikhs are cheaper, but it's not that we want to see, because the sheikhs, it's not a decent place to live in. Yeah, yes, it can be cheaper, but what we are trying to do as a ministry, we are also trying to come up with cheaper housing. A housing of a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom. A housing that can cost something like, of course, it depends on the income of a person. A housing range between 50,000, or let's say 40,000 to 100,000. Why am I saying that? We have structures that Sheikh Dwellers Federation of Namibia is busy with. These houses are costing between 40,000 and 50,000. We regard them as cheaper. Yes, and somebody will say, I want to live in a shack. But this one also, it's a proper house and it's also cheaper. So, and this is the reason why we are saying, and we are encouraging our citizens that people who have low income should maybe also start to join Sheikh Dwellers and build together a program under the Ministry of Urban Rural Development. So the Ministry of Urban Rural Development is financing Sheikh Dwellers. And this is what many people do not know. Like in the current financial year, the Ministry of Urban Rural Development has allocated 10 million to Sheikh Dwellers. And build together also in various local authorities, we are also now allocating a small amount of money. We are now only encouraging local authorities to activate the program of Build Together in the local authority, which I think is going to produce cheaper dwellings to our people, rather than Sheikh Dwellers, I mean sheikhs in our local authorities. Because the outlook of the sheikhs are also not giving a good picture. Hence, we are trying to say, at least, even if you have got a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, whether it's small, it has got a nice looking. So this is what we are trying to do now.
All right. Now, how does the Influx pose as a challenge to the Ministry of, Urban and Rural Development in addressing the housing situation in the country?
Yeah, the Influx is creating a serious challenge to us, because when people are migrating in a given local authority or town or municipal council area, so when they come there, they find places which are not serviced. And also the water supply, sanitation challenge, the road, electricity. So these are the challenge. Now, the municipality, by the time when people are coming in that area, they do not have funds to service a given area. Now they find, a local authority finds itself in such a very, very, very serious problem. And and it's not easy, because the number now outnumbered the fund that you have to provide services. And again, the challenges are tenure security. These people now, they don't have security of dwellings that they are living in. So these are some of the challenges that we have in the local authorities.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Minister, when it comes to diminishing the informal settlements across the country, what is your hope when it comes to that?
Well, the Ministry of, let me say the government, through the Ministry of Urban Rural Development, we, as I have indicated earlier on, we are busy trying to strategize. I hope you've been following last week, on the 12th of October. The Ministry of Urban Rural Development have joint partnership with the Namibian Statistic Agency. We want to come up with a clear statistic as to how many people are in our local authorities, how many houses government has so far constructed. Now, how many people are now demanding for shelter, and what is the supply and what is the demand? So this is the statistic that we are busy with. Now, With that information, the ministry is now able to ask Treasury, that is Ministry of Finance, to allocate accordingly to enable us to deal with the situation. Of course, currently what we are busy now, in Windhoek here, we are saying there is a lack of or unavailability of land, because if you, I think all of us, we know how Windhoek is, and the available land supposed to be there, it's occupied. But what we are saying now, why do we have to run where people are currently, yet there are people who are occupying that land? Why can't we make use of the occupied land already? So the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development has initiated a program of the informal settlement upgrade. So we have started last year, July, with that program to build houses on already existing informal settlement. What we are doing is, a person has set up a corrugated iron house. Then we are saying, instead of us finding a virgin land somewhere, why can't we just go to the person who has set up a corrugated iron house, dwellings, and build a formal house there? And this is what we are doing. As I'm talking to you now, since 2020 July, we built more than 400 houses in Windhoek alone. And we are planning to move to some other areas.
Right. Minister, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Right. That was Erastus Utoni, who is the Minister that is of Urban and Rural Development, talking to us about the informal settlement and what the ministry's plans are with regards to decreasing these numbers. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll continue with the Daily Roundup.